Hello everyone, I'm Rick Janzen. Welcome to my fly bench. A number of years ago, balanced leeches were all the rage. You had these 90-degree jig hooks and you had to attach a pin and the bead on the front, get it all glued and set up before you could start tying the fly. It was all a bit of a pain, to be frank. Then along came the slotted tungsten beads and head turner beads and made that old pattern a bit obsolete. Well, the fact is I still got a bunch of those 90-degree jig hooks and I wanted to see how the new beads worked on them. Turns out they work fantastic. So let's take a look at the materials you're going to need to tie Rick's Semi-Seal leech. Alright everyone, into the vise I've got the number 8 jig hook, 90-degree jig hook from Mustad. Again, I've still got these left over from the days I was tying those balance leeches with the pin. So I've got a lot of them and I want to put them to use. I've taken a tungsten slotted bead in chartreuse, kind of like the kind used for a vampire leech, and fitted it on the hook with the slot towards the eye of the hook, of course, not towards the point. Now you can have these on two ways. One way, it'll go up there and cover up the eye, which is absolutely useless, as you can tell. But all you got to do is bring that back and give it a 180 degree turn, and it'll lock up against the elbow, just like that. Now we come in with our 6/0 black tying thread, and we're going to lock that in place right there with a collar of thread that's just going to lock that bead into place, and it's going to be the main thing that holds it there. So I'm going to snap off that thread and get that thread jammed up against the bead there. And what I like to do to make sure it stays put is I will now turn the vise over like that, turn the bead up, the hook up, and take a drop of super glue and just drop one drop of it into that slot there. I make sure I've got that slot squared away, and then I get a drop of that super glue in there just to hold it into place. There we go. A little on the thread there. That's okay. We'll get that vise turned back over again and lift that hook up square. You give it a few wraps with that super glue on there. That'll help lock things into place. And we've got a nice solid lock up there. Now we're going to come back. It's time to add the marabou. Now the size of this leech doesn't demand terribly long marabou, but I like to get about an inch of it off the stem, black marabou, and get with that inch there off of there, and then we'll bunch it up. I like to get it tied in and up the shank here, and then work my way back toward the bend of the hook. So we're getting that work back there, and if it's too long, it's fine. We'll be able to tear it to length in a few minutes. I'm going to cut off those tag ends. Just tidy that up a little bit. Come back forward and then back again. Check that bead, it's nicely locked into place there. Then I'm coming in with my black holographic tinsel in medium. This is going to give us a nice underbody that's got a little shine and sheen to it there. So again, nice length of that. we're going to tie it in right in front of the tail and then build up our body. Get a loose loop there. Wait a second. Try to catch it with the loose loop. There we go. Then bring our thread forward to just behind the bead. And we're going to follow it with the holographic tinsel. And we're going to give that body just that glitter there that's so attractive to the trout. That'll be sort of just, it'll be masked and veiled by the semi-seal, but it'll still be there and provide that little bit of sheen. Now I'm just going over, making sure I got all the marabou ends there covered up. So get that a couple of wraps there behind the bead, a couple in front, and cut that tag end off. See that bead is still square and tight on there, it's really good. Now what I do is I make a dubbing loop. I'm just getting some things organized here. And get myself a bit of a dubbing loop, maybe 3 inches long. We're using my finger, bring it to the top, just wrap it up, and then use my dubbing loop tool to hold it. Now I'm coming in first with the black-red semi-seal. Black-red first, that's what's on there. And I use mostly that. And I want to make sure the fibers are sort of running crossways in the dubbing loop because I want them as long as possible. And so I get the loop opened up there and try to situate those fibers in there so that they are running across the grain. And get another bunch in there. That's looking nice and hairy. And maybe just a tiny bit more. I like that black red. It's a great product. Get another little bunch in there and shoved up to join the rest of it. Then I follow that with the black purple. The black purple, there we are, black purple semi-seal. Same product, just a different blend. And one bunch of that. Again, trying to get those fibers to run crossways in the dubbing loop. Now I'm going to spin that loop, capturing those all. Occasionally I slacken up on it to help it capture them and bind them. Give that a good bunch of twists, and then I'm going to take my dubbing brush and just sort of brush it out here to get those long fibers that are trapped in there loose. Okay? Now that I've got that set up, what I'm going to come and do and just wrap a collar around, but I'm going to go back a little bit, maybe just a third of the way on the body, not too far back because I want that holographic tinsel to show, just about there. And as I'm doing it, I'm stroking the fibers back on this semi-seal. I've got a really nice looking blend there of the black, red, and the purple. I keep those swept back. And just sweep them back, and then I want to fill up that collar area right behind the bead there as much as I can. Now what I'll do is capture that, a few turns of thread over the tag end of that before we cut the tag end off nice and tight to the body. And we're just going to give that a wrap or two, and we'll come in with our whip finish tool and whip finish it right behind the bead. 3-4 turns. Cut that off, and taking a look at the tail there, I see it's maybe a little longer than I want it to be, so I'm just going to pinch it to where I want and tear off the ends a little bit to shorten them up. And there you've got Rick's semi-seal leech when this thing is wet. And the trick with this thing is to fish it on with an improved clinch knot. You want to fish that with an improved clinch knot on there. It's going to hang balanced, and you can adjust the knot where it is exactly on the eye. But you've got a really good balanced leech there that's going to take trout. You're going to really enjoy fishing this one. Not hard to tie at all. I like the blends of those two different colors of semi-seal there. I've hung it under a tippet with improved clinch knot. It's just really nice and balanced in the water, and under an indicator that thing just swims beautifully on a horizontal plane there. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. It's absolutely free. And you can feel free to share this video with your friends and hit that like button. Really helps my videos show up on the algorithm. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the water. Bye for now.